Hey, welcome back to Sales Made Easy. Tom Neeson, your host, Tom at Sales Made Easy. Get a hold of me. Today, I really want to build on sales management, a lot of tough jobs. And, I think it's a fine line between whether we're doing a good job or a bad job. And unfortunately, we can sit there and do a great job. And also we get these people saying we're micromanaging people or we're too worried about the CRM. And the problem is CRM is part of AI in today's world. AI, we're going to talk further on it, but AI is becoming more prevalent. And a salesperson, I don't think AI is going to take the place of a salesperson, but a salesperson not using technology is going to be in trouble. And if a salesperson is so worried about CRM, then, taking 5 minutes a day to do that, then it's a problem. CRM should be easy. So I bring this up because I really, as a sales manager, there's 3 things I want to talk about today, and really is what a sales manager needs to be. So number 1, we always tell our salespeople to build rapport. And in the sales world, we want them to build such rapport that we want them to be the trusted advisor of a client, right? As a salesperson, that's what you want. Because when you're a trusted advisor, you don't really have to sell. You just got to help people create solutions for themselves. And a trusted advisor is, like a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, someone that advises you because you trust them. So the number 1 thing as a sales manager, are you a trusted advisor to your sales rep? Do you build trust with them? Do you put them on an equal business stature? Do you explain to them, hey, look, I need this information so that I can help you with this, as opposed to fill out the CRM, right? Or call reports. I remember as a salesperson, my boss used to make me do call reports, and he never ever looked at them. And we all knew he never looked at them. He was just told by somebody else, have us do call reports. But just think, those call reports as a young salesperson, which I struggle as a young salesperson, if that sales manager would have taken to me every week, every 2 weeks and sit down and say, let's go over your call reports. It looks like the last 5 people you called on, this is what happened. So why do you think you're doing that, Tom? Right? If he would have started doing that, he could have easily been my trusted advisor. I probably would have walked through water for this guy, walked through fire for this guy. That never happened. And so to me, if you're a sales manager and you want to be a good sales manager, it's really about getting your people to trust you, because those are your machines. You got to keep those machines oiled, working well. Now, number 2 is, what are you willing to tolerate, right? What are you willing to put up with? Because whatever you tolerate, they'll give you. So when I say, what are you willing to tolerate? I'm looking at people. If I had to rate people, they're your A players, your B players, and C players. Well, C players don't like A players, and A players certainly don't like C players. And lots of times, A players will leave if you have too many C players and or D players, and you tolerate C and D players. If you don't tolerate them and you only work on A players only, your C players are probably going to leave. So you really got to decide, what are you willing to tolerate? Are you willing to tolerate A, B, and C players, or just A and B? I'll give you a great example of this. When I first became a sales manager, I was sent to the worst territory in our company and moved there. They said, this is the worst territory. It's always been the worst territory. So, but you're running it now. And so I was there for 2 weeks and called the sales meeting. And our one of the top sales persons in one category we had was the top salesperson, but he was also the biggest maverick, jerk, whatever you want to call him. Well, I had the sales meeting, everybody coming to Dallas, and he was a no-show. And so I did the first part of a meeting and had a break. I called him on the phone. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in Houston. I said, we had a meeting here and you knew about it. Why aren't you at this meeting? He said, well, I think this was much more important than your meeting. And I said, got it. Totally understand. Which here, I only have one thing to say to you. This is your last moment working for our company. You are now terminated. Now we're back in the meeting and let everybody know that he is no longer here. He's terminated. And they were kind of in shock. But this was the maverick that they all hated because he was always rubbing stuff in their face. And here's the interesting part. We didn't lose a stick of business. They weren't buying because of him. They were buying because of the company. He was succeeding in spite of himself. So what are you willing to tolerate? Because if you're willing to tolerate a C and D player, your A players will go away. So that's a couple things I would like. And the last thing is red flags. Create your own red flags. And I don't mean red flags for bad salespeople. I'm talking about red flags altogether. And what I mean by that is if I understand that a red flag is if I get a salesperson and the red flag is they stop doing this behavior, or so many quotes, they typically do so many quotes or so many demos, and that has dropped. That's a red flag that something's going on with that salesperson. Who knows? They could have a problem in their personal life, and so their focus has dropped. But create your own red flags so that when something does drop and a red flag's raised, instead of waiting for that red flag to become a problem, the red flag's raised, I can address the salesperson and say, hey, it looks like this is a problem. What's going on? How do I help? So those are the three things I'd take a look at is number one, become a trusted advisor of your salespeople. 2, don't tolerate D players. Either coach C players up to A players or get them out. And number 3, create your own red flags so that you know ahead of time when something's wrong and you can start helping people. So that's it for today. I hope to see you next week on Sales Made Easy. Once again, I'm Tom, and take a look for my next newsletter on the same topic. Thanks.